right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Stevie Ray. Stevie, how we doing, my man?
Oh, good man. Yep. There's guys rolling in the background, so hopefully it's not too noisy.
Nope,
Uh,
nope, not too.
yeah,
So,
just been teaching a BJJ class. So
very nice, very nice. So, Stevie, man, I mean, you got a fight book with the PFL. Talk to us a little more about that matchup we got coming up, my man.
yeah, so I took some time off. My last fight's been like a year ago. Yeah, like thought I was done, but PFL announced they're coming to Scotland, and yeah, it made sense for me to get on. So. Uh, Yeah, I mean the plans are it's meant to be my last fight, but you never know if I enjoy the fight camp and yeah I might fight again, but uh, I think that's the plan. The last fight, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely that's awesome to hear. Now, when it comes to your fight camp, I mean, how are things going? What are you typically doing for your final fight?
Yeah, I mean it's still early days. I mean I'm not even really in fight camp yet. I think it's 13 weeks. 13 weeks to the fight, so you don't want to really start training too hard too early. I actually go on holiday on Monday. I'm away to Turkey for a week. Um, that's just kind of it's been booked for months even before the fight, family holiday. But um, yeah, like thinking about it, I've still got 11 weeks when I get back, so I started training a little bit earlier. Like when the fight's been announced, I've basically been back training, just to get a little bit kind of prepped, if you like, so I can enjoy a week's holiday with the family, and then yeah, I've got 11 weeks when I get back. So, but yeah, it's good. It's good to be back in training.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I'm glad to hear all things are going good. And obviously you mentioned spending time with your family. I mean, what do you typically like to do with your family outside of the cage, man?
Uh, it depends if we've got the kids or not. I mean, I've got 4 kids, so if we've not got the kids, me and the wife usually just like to fucking sit in the house and do nothing. It sounds silly maybe that we don't take advantage and go out, but it's tiring having 4 kids, so we literally just watch the TV or chill out or maybe even have a sleep. But yeah, with the kids, I mean, we'll be. I sometimes take them swimming. They like swimming. They like parks, just kind of that stuff. Soft play. My older ones are getting a little bit older for that now, so. Um, but yeah, when we're on holiday, it'll just be probably playing in the pool every day.
No, that's definitely awesome. The pool is definitely always a lot of fun. And when it comes to just you in general, you opened up a gym. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about behind the scenes about opening up a gym and maybe some advice for people that are maybe looking to open up a gym one day in the future.
Yeah, just that it's tough. It takes time. It takes time to build. I mean, I've been coaching now since 2017, so 7 years. It's really hard to try and coach and fight at the same time. You have to try and find that balance. Um, like running a business and being a professional fighter and having a family, it's tough. But yeah, I'll just show you the kind of background and now what's going on.
Oh
Um,
yeah, dude.
so one of our kind of quieter nights. There's 6 guys in doing the gi. Got I don't know if I can flip the camera, but got like.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
So yeah, but fighting doesn't last forever. So obviously you've got to try and build something for when you're kind of done fighting.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'll be able to coach a lot longer than fighting. So that's the idea. Try and build this gym. I've got roughly around 50 members at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah. No, well, Steve,
my
man, keep it up.
advice is sorry, I was kind of blethering on there a little bit. My advice is yeah, just be consistent with it. Advertise. Get a good solid team. I've got a good team. Especially when I've went back fighting and stuff. I've had like assistant coaches. helping me with the gym. So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome, man. Now I see you rocking the gi. I mean, how often do you typically train in the gi, and how do you think that maybe helps you for your MMA matches?
Uh, Not so much, to be honest. I don't really enjoy the gi, but it's kind of part of the the whole thing. I mean, I'm more a no gi guy. I do have some wins in the gi. Like last time I competed in the gi was purple belt. Um, but yeah, it's good to sometimes just play around in the pajamas, get the different grips and stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, you're a beast on the ground. You hit that twister and all that good stuff. I mean, you've also competed well in a couple grappling matches. I mean, how do you typically like to compete in them? And when you're training for these grappling matches, I mean, does training maybe change? Are you just going all in on grappling, or are you still kind of doing your MMA as well too?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say actually when I said it's good to be back training. I still have been training. I competed for ADXC. Well, I actually competed way back against Shane Curtis, who's a good grappler. I heel hooked him. That was on Grapple Fest. I can't actually remember when that was, but that was last year at some point. Then this year I competed against a guy that's in the welterweight tournament for the PFL. Actually, he'll be fighting the same night as me, Ibrahim Main. So he's in the welterweight tournament. I submitted him with a guillotine, and then I recently competed against Jed Hu, who's a really good grappler. I lost on points. I was originally annoyed with my performance, but watching it back, I feel like I've done pretty good against a full-time kind of solid grappler. So yeah, I mean, I feel like my jiu-jitsu is good to compete against like high-level jiu-jitsu guys. But yeah, I was only doing jiu-jitsu for a good while. I hadn't done striking in quite a while, so yeah, it was back to seeing if I could remembered how to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense. And obviously, with you being in the UFC, what was it kind of like to kind of deal with the free agency process, and then what was it kind of like to finally get that call for the PFL to come back?
Well, the whole free agency thing, it's been out there a little bit now. What happened with the free agency, I mean, that was kind of bullshit. So, yeah, I signed a 4-fight deal with the UFC after I beat Michael Johnson, biggest win in my career. I was due to fight Mark Diakese. In London, UFC London, I pulled out for the first time in my career with a knee injury. And the whole show got cancelled for COVID, so that show didn't actually end up going ahead. But yeah, then I went through a weird process with the UFC where they wanted me. My manager basically said that they were wanting to get rid of me because of my knee injury. So I was kind of forced to go as a free agent, if you like. I didn't actually even want to leave the UFC. I wanted to stay and compete with the UFC, but I was told I had no choice. So I went as a free agent, and then it did come, it did end up with a good opportunity. I got the opportunity fighting in the $1 million tournament, getting to compete with PFL, who were, really good to deal with, really good to work with, and obviously I'm still with them now. So, aye, that's what happened with that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And with you being in the PFL, I mean, how are they treating you, and maybe how is the PFL different compared to the UFC?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I wouldn't say they're much different. I mean, I feel like I was looked after well with at the UFC and PFL. Um, uh, yeah, I wouldn't say it felt much different. Like when I went with PFL, it felt like I was still the same in the UFC. I was making good money for fighting, and we got looked after. We got good sponsors, and um, the only thing I would say maybe that I got to meet the bosses. I got to meet the bosses and with PFL. I got to speak to them a bit. I got to know them. Even Don Davis, the kind of founder. Um, of PFL, the CEO Pete Murray, Ray Sefo, the president. I got to kind of speak to them in person a lot more, whereas obviously I never got the chance to speak to Dana too much. But I mean, he's got. I never really made it that much of a big name in the UFC. I was just kind of building my way up. But I think Dana was only at a few of my fights. I think he was at the Felder fight. Um, he was at a couple of them. I can't remember what one. Maybe the Ross Pearson fight in Belfast, and maybe London, Cajun Johnson. But yeah, I would say that that's the difference. Like I had a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like I just felt like there was a better communication between myself and the kind of bigger bosses.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And when you first got into MMA, you mentioned you had to give up like partying and hanging out with girls and stuff. Man, I mean, talk us a little bit more about maybe your favorite memories of partying and stuff back in the days.
Uh, yeah, I've got some crazy memories, but they're probably all no for no for on this. I mean, a lot of the time I ended up in the cells, handcuffed. One time I ended up in prison. Um, I was in Perth prison. Luckily, I only got a week. They tried to fully commit me. I fully committal or whatever, 140 days on remand. But I got out on a curfew. I then eventually ended up on a tag. Um, I started MMA on a tag. I had to get it cut off for my first MMA fight. But yeah, it was basically just for fighting. I just loved fighting. I was always, I was known to be a kind of tough guy in the street, if you like. I was the one getting in the street fights and the one sticking up for my mates. So, um, but yeah, there was plenty of times where I was getting up to no good before I started MMA.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And stuff, man. I mean, what are some of your go-to drinks you'd like to drink?
Go-to drinks as in alcohol.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I don't like beer, so I'm more. I used to be vodka or gin. Probably why I ended up in the cells most of the time, because by the time some of my mates had drunk like one beer, I've drunk five vodkas. Um, so yeah, but eventually I quite like a cider. I found that cider's all right. But I don't drink a lot. Just every now and again. But yeah, I would say a cider or a vodka.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And now, when it comes to your fighting career and stuff, man, I mean, obviously you have a ton of fights. What do you think is maybe the most nerve-wracking part of the fight process?
The most nerve-wracking part of the fight process. Just when you've got a lot of kind of a lot of people depending on you. Maybe like the $1 million fight was obviously a lot of pressure. It's like $1 million. It could potentially change your life a bit. It could set a lot of stuff up. So yeah, I remember the $1 million fight, just thinking, "Fuck, I can't wait until this is over and done with." And yeah, maybe just dealt with it a little bit wrong. Obviously, I got caught with a punch, and that didn't go my way. But yeah, I had a lot of pressure that fight. I remember the first Glasgow fight. I felt a lot of pressure. 13,000 Scottish fans chanting you. But yeah, I feel like every fight. I mean, every fight is tough. I mean, you're going in the octagon with another man looking to knock you out or choke you out. People watching all over the world, on TV. It's just experience. Obviously, you eventually learn how to deal with it a bit.
Yeah. I know that definitely makes sense. Yeah, and when it comes to your career and stuff, man, I mean, I know, for example, me personally, like when I have a lot on my mind, I have a lot of like trouble sleeping and stuff. Like, how's like sleeping and stuff when it comes to you for like your fight camps and everything? Is everything all smooth when it comes to that end?
Sleeping, sleeping's actually always been fine for me. I've never ever had struggle sleeping. Kind of always been a good sleeper. I would say if anything, the only time I struggle to sleep is after a win. So after I've just won a fight, sometimes I lost as well, but more I win. Just because the amount of messages I get on my phone, the fucking dopamine's through the roof. Uh, yeah, my phone goes crazy where I struggle to sleep, and probably because I'm eating like fucking loads of M&Ms and loads of sugar, keeping me awake. I usually can't sleep for about 3 days after a win.
Wow,
Uh,
wow.
I'll maybe have a couple of hours, but like I'm not awake for 3 days. But like I don't sleep good for about 3 days after a win.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, win or lose, I mean, after your fights, I mean, like, talk to us a little bit more about like the stuff, like, like after your fight, you get like these black eyes and stuff. I mean, how long does it typically take for you to kind of fully recover and kind of get back to looking like you again?
Usually, I don't know, a week or two. I've never really been that beat up in my face anyway that it's taken too long. Um, yeah, usually a week or two, unless it's like I've had cut that's been stitched up and stuff. But even at that, yeah, maybe 2 weeks and you're back to normal.
Wow, wow, not too bad at all then. So when it comes to just like you in general, what kind of music you like to listen to, like maybe when you're training or just like in general?
What's that music?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm not really. I'm not good at knowing songs. I'm not a music person, but I mean, I like listening to it, but I'm not good with knowing what's what. But yeah, just anything that, like, maybe dance, anything that gets you pumped up, motivational music, or maybe rap.
So when it comes to like training and stuff too, you got obviously a lot of people in your gym. I mean, what advice do you typically give to those guys in your gym to maybe get to the level that you're maybe at one day?
Well, I started MMA when I was 19. I hadn't done anything before that apart from, like I said, fighting in the street and getting up to no good. But I hadn't done any martial arts before I was 19. And then I was in the UFC when I was 25. So it's just find a good gym and be dedicated. Uh, I feel like there's so many people that can make it. You always see these guys in the gym that they've got the potential, but it's what you do out with the gym, I think, that matters. Some of these people with all the potential in the world, they get a girlfriend, they'll stop training, or they'll start partying, they'll drink or drugs or whatever. Whereas I was able to kind of discipline myself with that. The people I used to hang around with. I still speak to a lot of them. They were obviously, we're at that age where, we're between 16 and 25, they're all going out drinking, partying. And I had to just kind of decide that, if I want to make it anywhere in my career, I had to stop doing that. So I lost a lot of friends. I would say, or I lost my kind of group of friends deciding to do that. But that's I think why I got to where I got to, and why anyone gets to. You need discipline.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, discipline is definitely important, Stevie. And Stevie, obviously, you're a veteran in the fight game, but I mean, when it comes to just like you in general, man, what's maybe something cool that maybe you'd want the fight fans to know about that maybe they don't typically know about you?
I try and think of you get that question asked a few times. So some things that people maybe wouldn't know about me. So my favourite film is Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter geek. I like the Harry
Oh,
Potter
really?
films. Uh, and what else? I'm a yoga teacher, qualified yoga teacher. Trying to think what else. Yeah, that's about all I can think of that people wouldn't expect anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So when it comes to Harry Potter, are you one of those guys that like to read the book and watch the movie? And if so, which one do you kind of like better, the book or the movie?
I've never read the books.
Really?
I'm not really a book person either. I struggle to a fucking ADHD brain where, um, yeah, I've got ADHD, so I struggle to, you know, stay focused on stuff. The films, I feel like I can pay attention more. So, favorite film is probably number four. Goblet of Fire. Prisoner of Azkaban was also good. But I like them all. They're all good.
Very nice, very nice. That's pretty funny. You never read the books. Now, Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years. I've been training for 19 years. I started when I was 5 years old. So I love martial arts. And when it comes to all the students I have in my gym, man, I mean, what advice would you give to them to keep on coming into the gym, to keep on getting better and better every day?
So I think one of the biggest ways to stay motivated in the gym is competing. When you have a competition coming up, it makes you want to train more. It kind of forces you to train more because you want to do. Sorry, you want to do well in the match. You want to win. Setting yourself goals. Obviously having fun. You need to enjoy it. Doesn't You don't have to take it too serious all the time. You can come in and socialise um, and yeah, find a good gym, be consistent, enjoy it, and yeah, the other one I would say is obviously try and stay supple. Do some stretching, get in early, do mobility, because obviously that's one of the things that forces a lot of people away, injuries.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely
yeah.
hear you there with the injuries. Like I said, I'm wearing my stuff here because I just got my shoulder surgery the other day. So, Stevie, man, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time, especially when you're here at the gym. And maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video.
Just yeah, maybe tune in to my next fight. I'm fighting Lewis Long, September 28th at the Hydro in Glasgow. Um, it's a tough fight. It's not a gimmick fight. Lewis Long has been in there with a lot of tough guys. He's fought in Bellator, similar age to me, so it's not an easy fight, and he's not obviously the toughest name I've had. I've probably fought tougher, like bigger names, and maybe even tougher guys. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough fight, and it's going to be a good fight, I think, as well. So tune in.
Oh yeah, yeah, Stevie, we're definitely going to be tuning in, my man. And again, thank you so much for taking the time, especially when you're here at the gym. And looking forward to your fight. And if it's going to be your last one, man, thank you so much for all the awesome memories. And I'll shout out to you for having an awesome career. Thank you again for taking the time, my man.
No worries, man. Cheers to you too.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we can do another one in the future. Again, man, thank you so much for taking the time. It means a lot to me.
All right, no worries, bud. Right.
All right, man. Take care.
Later, man.